Okay guys, so on to the 2-point perspective. We're going to start off exactly the same as what we did before. As I said, this time I'll even use my little trammel. Trammel is just a piece of paper. So because we're doing sketches and not drawings, we're not allowed to use rulers, but that's not to say that we can't help ourselves out with proportion by using a little trick with a trammel card, but at the moment, don't need that. The pencil seemed to show up quite well in the last video, so I'm going to try this just now and see how we get on. So when we start off with 2-point perspective, as it says in the name, you want to have vanishing point number 1 and vanishing point number 2. Okay, so again, just going to start off with our basic cube. Now the difference between the 1-point and the 2-point perspective, with the 1-point we were looking straight at the elevation, with the 2-point we are looking at the edge. So I'm going to draw in our edge there with a nice heavy outline. This is going to be the size of it. So because this is quite close to the vanishing point, it gets quite squished, it gets quite distorted. And because this is quite far away, it will look a wee bit more stretched. So top and bottom going back to the vanishing point here, very lightly. And then again on this side, very light construction lines going back to the vanishing point. Now this will get quite confusing later on because I'm hoping to have the other drawing on this side as well. Okay, with the cube, we said that the heights are all the same because the height, the width and the depth of a cube are all the same measurement. On the 1-point perspective, that was quite easy because we were looking at the elevation and we could take this height and take it across because it wasn't being affected by foreshortening. But this is going back to the vanishing point, so it has to be smaller. This is where your trammel can come in. So taking this piece of paper here, I can mark off from the edge. That is the full length of the cube. So I want to make sure when I turn this round that I want my cube to be smaller than that mark. Right, now I'm not meaning in here, I'm just taking a tiny wee bit off. So I'm going to put it maybe about there. And using my straight edge, going to make that a nice heavy outline. So as we said in the last video, whenever you're outlining, you need to make sure that you don't break your pencil lid for a start, but you are creating these nice sharp corners. Okay, so what does that mean going back on this side? Well, we have this measurement here. We've used that as our trammel. It's the same size, it's going back just as much. I can use this for my proportion. And that says that's going to be there. How many of you would have put it there? Probably not that many because you're thinking it looks a bit odd. But having used the trammel, we know that this size is exactly the same as the other side. So again, using my outline, I have got 2 sides of my cube. From now, we know that this corner is going back to the vanishing point and this corner is going back to the vanishing point. So nice light construction lines. Nice and accurate, following that in. That's as we've got our cube there and we can use our outline just to sharpen that up ever so slightly. Okay, so now we need to start thinking about putting that hole into the corner of the cube. And the best way to do it, if you've got something that's got to go onto both sides, is to put it on this face here. Now when we move further into drawings, or if you're doing higher, you'll already know about it, but this height is called a true height. If you look at the PowerPoint, when you see all 5 representations of the cube, this line was in red, and that's because that line is the actual size, it's the actual measurement on all 5 of the drawings. So if we want to put something on here, we can pretty much put it on fairly accurately. So I'm going to just put 2 wee construction markers just to make sure that this size here and this size here are the same. I want to make sure they're exactly the same. Again, trammel. This is that line there. Put it on here. That's that line there. And that way you know you've got them exactly the same. Going back to the vanishing point with the construction lines. Now you might think I'm going on about construction lines and outlines, but these are answers for your National 5 or higher exam. They are line types known to British standards. They are in the theory PowerPoint and the unit notes that I have put up online. We need to start using the terminology. So this is a continuous thin line known as a construction line, continuous thick line known as an outline. Those are the only 2 line types we're going to use for our pictorial drawings. Okay, what do we do when we want it to be the same size on here? Oh, I know, we've already got our measurement for our trammel. Oh, but wait, can we do that? No, it's going back to the vanishing point number 2. So it's not going to be quite as long as that, it's going to be a wee bit smaller, and on this side as well, a wee bit smaller again. So although in real life, this measurement here, and this measurement here are the same, and this measurement here and this measurement here are the same, they must look smaller. Right? Think about the idea of train tracks. Train tracks is the one that people always use. You know that when you see the train tracks, they look like they get closer together and they get smaller as they go further back into the distance. But we know that's not true, otherwise our train would fall off the tracks. So applying a wee bit of pressure, putting the grip further down the pencil, breaking the pencil lead again. I'm finally able to put those nice heavy construction lines in. By doing that, the outlines rather, guys, that the construction lines should disappear, and this pencil is absolutely awful. I might go back to my pen. Okay, so at the moment it looks like we've just put a sticker onto the boxes, so it's important we take the corner back. Honestly, whoever thought these are a good idea? And again, in here, so we've got our cube. So just like we did with the previous example, we've done our cube, but this time it's 2-point perspective. Going to do the exact same example over here, just like we did in the last video. But again, instead of starting with the elevation, going to start with the corner. Right, so I've got my corner edge. I'm going to take that back to vanishing point 1. Nice light construction lines. And on this side. Now guys, if you think this is a lot of construction lines on one page, you should see what it was like if you did the old hire. Oh my god, that was something else. Okay, so again, we need to make a decision on how far back we want this to be. So we said in the last video that this edge is about 1.5 the other face. But this time it is being affected by perspective, so you really just kind of have to go for it. You think it needs to look a wee bit like a square. Let's just go for it there. It's as good a place as any. Right? So I'm going to outline that face without breaking the pencil lead. Well done. And then that line can go back. There we go. So we've got this bit here. So again, you can use our trammel if you want. Let's take on a page that we haven't done yet. So we know this is meant to be at least 1.5 going back, but they're both affected by perspective, so I can probably just go for about there. Yeah. Sometimes you use the trammel, sometimes you can just gauge it by eye. I'm going to go for it there because I like that bit. There we go. And I can just tally on to that pre-existing construction line there. Okay then, so we've now got the basic outline of our little shed. We're now going to do the little ribbon that goes around the top. It's only just a wee baby one, so put it here. Remember, all your measurements are going onto the corner. Taking it back, nice dark construction line because I feel confident in what I'm doing. And again here, going to get that confident, nice outline there. Okay, so we know on this face we have a square window. So in real life, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 can't happen here. Okay, we need something that's bigger than 1/3, something that's 1/3, and something that's smaller than 1/3, roughly, if we're doing it. So the big section at the front, smaller section at the back, even though they are all exactly the same measurement. So I'm going to do it on my piece of paper first, just to make sure I'm happy that it works out. So big third, wee third. Yeah, perfect. Go for that there. So if I put my construction lines in, I should see that my back section here and the middle section and then a big section. So you can see I've got big, medium, small. Okay, what about the window? The window is bang in the center, so I'm going to make sure that the gap here and the gap here are the same. So I'm going to take my piece of paper. If I say that I'm going to put that window about that far from the top, that far from the bottom, that's a wee bit too big, so that's not 1/3 in there, so let's go a wee bit bigger. Put that there. Yeah, go for that one. So put that one there and put that one there. Right, so that gives me just about 1/3. So taking that back, nice and light, taking that back, Yeah, I've got my window in the middle, so if I use my pencil just to outline that. Okay, nice window in the middle there. Okay, we know that the height of this window is the same on here, so we take this piece of string and we wrap it around that corner and we take it back to this vanishing point. And the bottom of the window we're going to need as well, so we're taking that back to that vanishing point. I now have the height of the window and the height of the door. Looking at the distances, we'd say that the gap here is the same as the gap on that side. So again, just take that trammel, just go for it. So this is going to be the big line there. So my door is going to start there because they're both affected by perspective. So I'll just move that in. There's the start of my door. The door has to be quite big, bigger than this section in real life, but it's affected by foreshortening, so it's probably going to be quite similar to it. So I'll just bring that in here and do my door. And then I should have a tiny wee gap and a long window. Now remember, the gap here from the start of this door to the start of the window is bigger than the one here. So again, you might want to take your trammel, just mark it out beforehand. And just go for putting those lines up using either just freehand or that. So probably make that a wee bit bigger. Yeah, let's go for that there. So the good thing about your constructions lines, if they are light enough, you shouldn't need to erase them, but if you do make a mistake, you can rub them out. That's if you have brought a rubber home from school, which I have not. So there we go. So in 2-point perspective, you can see we've got light construction lines and darker outlines. And just for the video, so it shows up, we'll just get this darkened down. So already we can see how the same object, when it's drawn in 2 different formats, can look quite different. Now in the PowerPoint there is also an explanation of how to identify different types of pictorial. So with any of the drawings you're asked to identify in the exam, the first thing that you should be looking for are the lines parallel. If the lines are not parallel, you are then going to count the number of vanishing points that you have. So here we can see that the lines will eventually meet, therefore it's a type of perspective drawing. You then need to see how many times they go to the vanishing point. The other way to really look at it is whether it's drawn face on as well. So here we're definitely going to be drawn with the edge. Okay guys, any issues, again give me a shout in the Teams comment page, but that is us for perspectives for now.